Daniel, how's it going, bud?
Doing well, doing well.
Good, good, good. Tell me again, when did you close this deal?
I closed the deal April 4th.
April 4th. So that
Yeah.
was about a couple of weeks ago. Is
Yep.
the fire still burning from that deal?
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. Like it was a long, hard fought away journey to get here. And
Hmm.
after getting that deal, I felt confidence. Like, hey, now I know the system from making all the mistakes.
Hmm.
And I'm like so ready to move on to the next deal. I even hired VAs now to do all the heavy lifting, meaning like all the research. So I literally have the next 5 cities ready to go, meaning like I'm
Nice.
about to do the ads.
What's your background, Daniel? Do you come from sales?
No, no. Originally it's a programming background.
Hmm.
So
So you come from a background that's just it's just you and the machine. And, you're not having like a lot of interactions. You're not like selling or doing customer service or anything like
uh
that.
no way, no way. My job is to sit behind a computer, write code, and not talk to anyone. That's my job.
And now you've been thrown into this, or you threw yourself into this new bath. You're soaking in a new bath where you have to make these contacts. Tell me a little bit about that. Like, how are you putting your feet to the fire?
Oh, first of all, it was I would say it's super scary in the beginning. I'm following the system. Out of the whole system, I felt the absolute most scariest part. Well, most scariest part is the weirdest thing. The pre-closed screencast. It's only, you got to record it. It's only literally 3 minutes, but I think I must have contemplated that like th for like 3 weeks, like doubting myself. Is, oh my God, am I going to speak correctly? Am I going to say the right words? What
Three
if I look
weeks.
like it? Yeah, it took me 3 weeks to convince myself to do it. It took that long, but after I got it done, that wasn't that bad.
How many
You know,
tries how many?
I did it 2 times.
Two times. That's not
Yeah,
bad. That's not
yeah.
bad.
Well, I had 3 weeks to think
It
about it,
it
right? So,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. I guess the planning was worth something.
Mhm.
So you don't come from a sales background, not a customer service background, and
No
now
way.
you're throwing yourself into these situations where you have to pick up the phone and cold call. And how do you feel before versus after you make those, five contacts or five phone calls? Like, what is the difference of like the way you feel after you get off those phone calls?
I feel like a night and day difference. Like, when I first started the actual paid course, the digital landlords, everything I was listening to, it sounded very scary. So, oh my God, you have to call business owners and, go through this script. And I was so nervous in doing that. And I was thinking, oh my God, are they going to curse me out? Like, who the hell is this? Are you a salesman? That was very scary to me.
Hmm.
But, that took some time to build up to that as well. But once I started doing that, I realized, hey, it's not as bad as you make yourself I worried myself into. It's not that bad at
Right.
all. But it was scary in the beginning, but once I did it like 2, 3 times, it's just another thing to do.
So when you bought the course, it was about a year ago, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was January of last year. Yeah.
Okay, so would you have done anything differently now that you know how easy it is to, or not easy, but you know how to navigate yourself through a phone call? Would you
Oh
have
yeah.
made more calls before?
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely. Like I would say the one of the reasons why, well, two of the reasons why it really delayed me was um Google Ads, because I had a Google Ads account from years ago which I never paid off correctly. I had like a small amount.
Hmm.
That took 3 months just to reconcile with Google.
Mm.
So once I got that done, the second part that delayed a lot was, I think, my own arrogance, because I'm thinking, hey, I have a programming background. Nick has a sales background, so let me mix half of what he's saying and half of what I think a website should be created. So I actually did it my way instead of his way, and I mixed half of his stuff and half of my stuff in there. And building these websites, there was one of the first websites I created after I bought this. I spent 6 weeks creating it, perfecting that website. Okay, that horribly bombed and failed. Then I'm thinking, oh no, there's something wrong. So I went to the next city. I must have done like 35 due diligences by then. There's Excel sheets. I went to
Hmm.
the next city, did the same exact thing. I made the website again myself, and that totally bombed as well. Okay, everything bombed about it. Then I realized, hey, let me take a step back and listen to every single video in the digital landlords course. And after I went through every single video again, and on top of that, I went through the private Facebook group, went through all the lives as well, the live recordings with fixed paid ads and all that. Then I realized, oh, here's all the mistakes I made, and I followed exactly what he said, and then it finally worked.
I can relate. I can relate to a lot of that. And I always say in the group, like it pisses me off how much how much he's right, because I call that getting creative. Like you get comfortable with the process and you start getting creative and you're like, okay, well, what's going on in the last 2 weeks? I'm not hooking the right way. I'm not closing. What's going on? You're getting creative. You're not sticking to the process. I can totally relate. And I've done that just recently, like 3 months ago. Um, I I don't think I pinned I didn't anchor the call in the beginning, and it got pulled in different directions, and he ended up asking for like a commission slash flat fee, and the deal just fell apart because I didn't anchor this guy. I didn't do the pullback. I didn't anchor him in the beginning of the call saying, hey, yeah, you're night, don't leave me in maybe line. So yeah, I got creative and I just rambled with him, and that cost me the deal. So yeah, definitely. That's a very, very good point that not only the beginners have to deal with, but also even the students that have been in the program for years, because they keep coming back to that slump. Unfortunately, I still do it, and I've been in the program for years now. I like how much due diligence you do. You're not scared to do a lot of due diligence. Are you usually like a systematic person? Like you like your lists and your research and your data?
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely live on Excel. So doing the due diligence, that's the easy part because I'm coming from a programming background, right? So I literally
Yep.
sit behind a computer all day analyzing things. So that's not a problem at all. I'm actually going and building an app that actually do all this automatically instead of me having to look at or even hire VAs. So I'm putting that together myself. I got it halfway built already, but
Wow.
yeah.
Nice. I mean, that's definitely an asset to have,
Hmm.
having that technical background and shortcut in certain things. And now you're bringing that sales piece that you're
Hmm.
attaching I mean, you're going to be unstoppable. You had some failures with ads, first of all, which is the scariest of all the failures because when you fail, it means money. And then you had some also failures with like bad matches, like you matched with the first guy, second guy, and things are not clicking. Tell me a little bit about those failures. Let's start with the ads first.
Okay, so number one with ads, it still goes back to that what Nick's training in the digital landlords. He said, make the ads like this. And then the most key thing is he says, do not touch it. But for me, I touched it like every 3 days. That was horrible. Worst possible thing you can do. That's why my first two websites failed because I kept changing something every 3 days. But then what happens is as soon as you change something in an ad, Google goes back to learning and that takes another 7 days. So it keeps pushing you back. So what
Yep.
I learned is from my mistakes and going back and reading the private group, like the other group members are really helpful. They'll tell you what keywords to use, what negative keywords to use. So now when I make an ad, I will make it correctly the first time and do not touch it again, no matter what. Do not touch it. Just put it there the first time, let it go through that 7 day training period, and it's just going to run automatically. Even though I'm dying to make small changes, you just cannot do that. That's a
Yep.
huge mistake I made for like 6, 7 months.
Yes. Been there, done that for sure. Yeah, touching those ads, especially when you don't know when you created the ad, and you're like, I think I created it more than 10 days. I should probably just change something. It won't hurt anything. And you're resetting, like you said, you're resetting that learning again. Google has to take another 7, 8 days to
Yeah.
gather that data. Yes, absolutely great, great point. Do not touch it. Set it and forget it. Let it run and watch it. Watch it like a hawk, obviously. You want to watch that budget, make sure it doesn't, blow all your budget. And then within what I do now is like I put the date. Every time I create a
Hmm.
campaign, it's search campaign, blah, 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 date, such and such. That way I don't have to deal with that anymore. Yep, great one. Um, Tell us a little bit about the bad matches. because this model is so simple, yet it's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that the stars have to align. Now, it doesn't take a lot to make those stars align, but it does take a bit of effort and skill. You gotta have the right ad, the right due diligence, the right person, the right city, the right niche, et cetera, et cetera. So let's talk about those bad matches.
Okay, so bad matches. I'll go into the hook. When I'm at or once I have the ads bringing in leads, I'm calling up the business owners. I made a list. Okay, exactly like Nick said, and then go down the list, and just run the script. Okay, so I memorized the script as much as I could. I called the first guy. I felt I delivered it like 99% perfectly, and I made sure to read it slowly too. I purposely practiced it, read it slow, so it looks like I'm saying it calmly, like it's off the top of my head. Then this is the first call I ever made. My heart was pounding. And then he said, "Oh no, I don't think I want to do the deal with this kind of company." And I was thinking, "What the hell? I delivered this thing perfectly. I can't believe."
Mm,
And then I just left it off nicely. And then I mean, I don't even though I don't want to say anything bad. So I said,
sure.
"Okay, I don't want to be a hard close." So I hope you wish you well in your
Hmm.
next endeavor. And just I moved on to the next person. And but
Okay.
then the next guy, and you meet like so many different type of people when you're trying to call them. Second guy, he seemed to be like an older gentleman, and he wanted to give me his entire life story. And I'm just thinking in my mind, hey, I just want to sell you this deal. I don't want to hear your life story, but I just let him keep talking. But I automatically dropped him because if I had to hear a 35-minute speech every time I had to give him a lead,
Right.
I'll go insane. So I dropped him. Then probably the fourth guy I called, fourth guy, he was like a perfect match, you know? And like it was such a perfect match. He almost wanted because I sent him two leads, real people. I did the live transfer. He liked it. He called them back. He made appointments. Even before he went to the first appointment, he called me back later that day, said, "Hey, let's work out a deal. I can pay you a commission and all that." He was like ready to go.
Mm,
So
I
so
like
that
those.
worked out well. Yeah.
I
But I
like
made
those.
sure, yeah, but I wanted to do the deal right there, but I remember Nick saying follow the process. So I made sure to go back and do that pre-cast screencast and send that to him. Made sure he watched it. Then I talked to him and closed the deal.
Hmm. I agree
Yeah.
that some of the business owners, they come in too hot, and then they ask for a lot of information, and then you give them all the information because you want to sell, and then that kills the deal. Like, oh, how much is this going to cost me? It's going to cost you this much, and then you put your foot in your mouth.
Mhm.
Because they're not ready, they don't have the setup, they don't have the screencast. Yeah, happened to me, that's for sure. And like you said, you don't want to rush it. And even when they say, yeah, let's make a deal, that is your opportunity to do a little pullback, just a
Mhm.
little pullback, just to test the waters. Like, hey, I'm not worried about it right now. I know you want to do commission. I've done it all. I've done commission. I've done flat fee, paper lead, you name it. Um, one phrase that Nick likes is he would say, like, I've done everything but food stamps at this point. Um, and then you kind of give them peace of mind, but at the same time you're pulling back. Like, I'm not worried about this deal. If it's not you, it's going to be the next guy.
Mhm.
And yeah, I like that. I learned a lot from that. From sometimes even when you have someone that's like aggressive and wants to do the deal and they're ready to go, you have to pause, slow down, and follow the process for sure. Do not get creative. Um, Lots of due diligence. I like that a lot. So what is ahead for you now? Like now that you've done this first deal, now you know what the pieces of the puzzle look like. What's your next step?
Okay. So, well, right before I go into my next step, I just one last thing.
Yeah.
In the actual digital landlords course, like it's not just a technology piece of it, it's the sales piece I really appreciate on Nick's
Hmm.
side because on my last deal, the guy was gonna say he tried to say, "Oh, can I think about it and I'll call you tomorrow," and all that. But Nick specifically talks about how to battle that or how to counter it. And I use it perfectly and I closed the deal. Like I would have never in a million years known that trick at all. And not even a trick, like a sales tactic, or I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
But that work like the sales training you hear in his program definitely works. I thought it didn't, maybe it's just a gimmick, but I used it and it worked. Yeah, but just to move forward,
I
my
wrote that down. I wrote that down and I forgot to ask you about because you did mention it when I messaged you on Messenger. Uh,
yeah.
and yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so in the next program when you go through it, the first of all, like in his program he says, hey, just start executing all these things right away. But what I would just make a quick note to Nick is say, hey, just do the first part, but then make sure you go through all the FAQ questions and then come back and finish it. Because FAQs have a ton of knowledge that you'll never know if you didn't have that door-to-door sales, how to deal with
Hmm.
people. So in the one I actually used a couple of this techniques, but the last one, I actually made a PowerPoint. I got to show you that. I got to show you the PowerPoint. I got to find it. But um I should have had that open before the call. But the actual part was like I made the entire it was like almost a 1 hour phone call for the close. I went through every single thing, like
Wait, it
why.
wasn't a Zoom, it was a phone call?
Oh yeah, yeah, it was a Zoom. It
It
was
was
a
a Zoom,
Zoom.
okay, face to face. Okay.
Yeah, it was Zoom face to face, but I made sure I had a PowerPoint as well. And I used Chat GPT to make all the graphics, so it was a little nicer. So I had everything ready to go. Let me try to open it if I can, but um I totally forgot to even have that open. But um so as he was going through it, and I felt it was like perfect. He's about to close it right now. But this guy was very good. Like he was very tech savvy, the actual business owner, tech savvy and marketing savvy. I was thinking, man, of all the people I had to talk to like the smartest business owner. Why can't it just be a
Yeah.
regular guy? I can just make the sale. So he dissected the the lead calendar, the lead system.
Oh, the lead
Uh,
value calculator?
yeah, lead value calculator.
Oh,
I
okay.
had to defend that. I said, oh my God, I don't have to do this for other people. But that guy was like super smart. I'm glad I had to go up against him because if I can go against that guy and win,
Hmm.
I can sell anyone.
Well, actually, those people are a little bit easier to sell because if you have hard data for them, they're on
Hmm.
board.
Oh yeah.
They're the shrewd business owner and they're like very like number driven. If you actually show good numbers, you usually convince them. And I've had running into a couple of those people. They're very shrewd. They're very matter of fact, but they're easier to sell for some reason because they just like
Oh
they
yeah.
make a decision. Let's go. This makes
Right
sense.
away, right?
Let's do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
So
you get to the point where well, first of all, to answer your question, I call it an anchor. They said at
mhm.
the beginning of the call, you kind of tell them, hey, don't leave me in maybe land. I need the yay or nay by the end of the call. I call that anchoring because you kind of anchor them so that they don't have to so that they don't blow you off at the end of the call. They're just like, oh, let me talk to my dog, let me pray about it. Like you've already anchored them in the beginning. So this guy tried to do that to you, right? Try to tell you he's going to think about it.
Yeah, he definitely tried to do that. And then, in Nick's training, he says, what you're supposed to say when you do it, because you're going back and going all the proof, what you gave him free leads. Who else is going to do that, right? Is Angie's List going to call you up and say, hey, here's some real guaranteed leads, which I already talked to and made sure they're not crazy, and I'm handing it over to you? Would Angie's List ever do that? No, you got to pay $70 right now up front. And then, oh, by the way, you better pick up the phone before just five other people I just sold the same guy to,
Mm,
like it's like that worked, but I
that's
had
a
to do it
great
like three
angle.
times. Yeah. He tried
Yeah,
to stop it like three times, but so I just said the same thing three different ways.
right. But
Yeah.
what I that's a great angle, like especially like bring it into context, whatever they use for lead generation. They use Thumbtack. I'll talk about Thumbtack.
Hmm.
Especially, I do that to contractors who want to compare. Like they try to compare my service versus Angie Leads or whatever they're using. I just
Hmm.
butcher Angie Leads like
Hmm.
in front of them, and they don't bring it up anymore. I'm like, yeah, I mean it's the same thing except mine are exclusive and Angie Leads are you have to you have to bid against five, six other people.
Hmm.
That's the main difference. And then they take that step back, and then if they say anything else, I just lean into it and I dig in more, and I butcher their Angie leads. But yeah, that's a great way to do it. Also, what I've been saying was if they say, let me think about it or whatever, let me talk to my wife, and I've already anchored them, I've already said, hey, you're the quarterback here, right? There's no other partner. Yep, it's just me. The wife does not get into my business. And then at the end of the call, they're like, oh, let me talk to my wife. Even though she doesn't get into my business, I have to run everything by her. And I just say, hey, no worries. Go talk to the missus. I'm going to take it as a no because I already in the beginning of the call, I said it's a yay or nay. So this is a nay for me. So I'm going to go ahead and start calling the other guys. No harm, no foul again. Just because I sent you a couple of leads doesn't mean you have to do business with me. But for me, the way I take it is if I've sent you the video explaining everything and I sent you actual business and you closed it and put money in your pocket and you're still not convinced, then this is not a good fit for you. I think you should believe in your trust your gut and just move without this deal. Angel leads might work for you, better than me, but I feel like you're not into this. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're
When you
like, oh,
pull
no, no,
back,
no,
yeah,
it's not that. It's not that. It's this and this. And then I pull them back into the straight line, the selling. And then I either close them or I cut them loose.
yeah, the pullback definitely works. Yeah. And
100%.
then I spent like an enormous amount of time on the PowerPoint as well, just to make it a little bit more professional as well, because I was trying to like try to button all the holes just in case. I want him to look like it was a big company,
I
like a
see.
professional. I've been doing it for a long time.
Sure. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, man. I mean, yeah, you should. And it worked. It worked
Oh
when
yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And I
when
use the
you,
same PowerPoint for my precast. If you have time, I can show you a couple of screens of that if you want, but or another time.
yeah, can you share it with me through Messenger? I just want to look through the slides just to see what you did there.
Okay.
And then I can consult with you later and see if we can share some of those slides. Of course,
Oh yeah.
we'll do
Okay,
it through
then we could do it
Messenger.
after the call.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
I like that, man. The pullback, anchoring them in the beginning of the call. We talk about failures. We talk about all the due diligence we've been doing. Man, I need to work on my due diligence. I am not doing as much as you are, but I've already found a couple of niches that I'm just rinsing and repeating. So it's not.
hmm
It is getting hard for sure. The market is getting saturated, but I need to do more due
Yeah.
diligence, or
So
at least.
what would you
Go ahead.
recommend? I'm totally doing it all in on tree service. I know Nick did that like 2 years ago. I'm really getting into it now.
Yep.
Uh, is there anything else that we need to keep a top on? What's good for 2024?
Like in terms of niches,
Yeah, niches.
I'm just sticking to the same stuff I've done for 6 years now. I like stucco. I like epoxy flooring. Um, I'm getting into concrete now. I haven't sold a deal yet, but I built like 4 or 5 lead gens now, and I'm starting to run ads and build lists and stuff. But usually it's just stucco and epoxy. That's what I've done um, this whole 6 or 7 years that I've been doing this.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I am looking for new niches, because the niches I'm in are, getting saturated. Just like Nick with tree service, he's not doing as much tree service as he used to because it is getting saturated. It's just the nature of the beast. So I am looking for new niches. What about you? Are you sticking to, do you like this niche, the tree care? You think you can do another 5 or 6 of them before moving to the
Oh
next
yeah.
niche?
Oh, definitely. I might not even go to another niche. Like if I can just, like my goal is if I can just sell 10, hey, I mean, that's like mission accomplished right there.
Hmm.
Uh, but that's my minimum that I'm trying to get to. And then after that, I'm definitely, my goal is to get to at least 50,000 a month. That is my goal. But I just want to get to my next goal. Let me sell 10 of these.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
might never switch to any other niche. If it keeps selling, I'll just keep selling this.
right. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you have to deal with the churn too. But once you find those rock star business owners, like they'll stick with you if you keep delivering. The other thing that I noticed over the years, because of your niche being saturated, you have to have more money every year for Google or rank more. So the competition is going to pour into your market, into all these lead gen markets, and you're going to have to boost both SEO and or the ads. So that's what I have to deal with now. I probably upped my price like I want to say 40%, 35 to 40% to compensate for the Google ads and stuff. And luckily the business owners are okay with it. Like just increasing the price on some of them. The new ones I just mark it up because I know I need to pay Google more and I need to do more SEO.
Do you just mark it up every year, or how do you do it?
I just marked it up this year for the existing ones. No one said anything. No one complained. And then the new ones that are coming in, I'm just automatically adding it because I
Okay.
realized I wasn't making a lot of margins, a lot of good margins. So you have to bear that in mind. You have to constantly look at the ads and see if am I actually making money um, because you're running different ads with different numbers, and each one is paying you a different amount, so you don't know how much you're making, how much you're keeping.
Mhm.
Yeah, so just keep an eye on that for sure. Awesome, awesome. I don't know. Let me see if we have any comments here. No, I do not see any comments, but if you guys have any questions, let me just check my phone here. Cool. All right. Anything else, Daniel, we want to share with the crew here before we wrap this up?
Um, all I'd say is just follow his digital landlord's course exactly the way he says. That's all I gotta say. I would have saved like 9 months of like headache if I just followed exactly what he said.
Don't get creative.
No, just follow the system. Don't make your own system. Don't improve the system because you just make it worse.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you, Daniel. Definitely want to see you again in the group. I want to see that next deal posted in the
Mhm.
next week or so. So let's go. I'm fired up right now. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna hit the phone early tomorrow and start hooking people. I got a couple sites that I need to hook.
All right, good luck with that.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you,
Wishing you the best.
brother. All righty.
Okay,
Have a good
see you
evening.
then. See
Bye.
you. Bye.